Welcome back to the Alex Spicer Show. And yeah, it's been a week. I know you guys terribly missed me. I'm just so super excited. Maybe, I think maybe it would be a good time. Right now, it'd be a good time to talk about something that's very, very important. That is called morality. Now, if you think I'm acting weird, it's just because I decided I should probably just relax. I'm pretty uptight a lot of times when I do these shows. But we can talk about what is moral. Like what are the things that we should care about. And to go along with this, I actually had a funny dream last night. I had a dream that I had this old friend from high school whom I actually haven't seen in 10 years, I think. He and I were at some like continental breakfast hotel place or whatever, and he I guess he had some like Hulk syndrome. Like he turns into the Hulk at random times. And he stood up quickly. He's like, "Oh, I need to go to the bathroom." I knew that was kind of like code for like I'm not sure. I feel like I might be turning Hulk here. I don't know. And so he ran to the bathroom. And then I quickly followed behind him and noticed that he was turning all green and muscular. And I was like, "Oh crap!" And acting all angry and manic. And so I just and the hallways of this hotel were just super crowded, and I started yelling at everyone get out! There's a fire! I just said, there's a fire, because no one's going to believe, oh, there's a Hulk coming! So I was like, there's a fire! And so everyone's like running, and I'm like running as fast as I can, and I end up pushing, someone in front of me, like trying to get them out, and me and this person go out the door, and I can hear the roaring of my friend behind me, and things getting smashed, and we finally get out the emergency exit of the building, and we make it around a corner. Next thing you know, I see this big flying green thing that, because we had made it good ways from the building, jump from the entryway and land right at me, like, ugh! But then my friend, began acting, like it was almost like he was struggling to be fully Hulk and be himself, and I had this like really dumb thought, really really dumb. It was that, like, I was like, man, like he is frightening all of us, could potentially hurt all of us. Like, this is awful. And then here's the dumb thought. Here's the dumb part. It was that after thinking this, I thought the thought came to me. Well, that's not really fair. That I'm only thinking of me. Like, how what's going on here is potentially hurting all of us and causing a lot of damage. He probably feels really embarrassed that I would get on to him about this, about him not taking control of this and being safer with it. Because in my dream, he had somewhat control over it. He, for some reason, if he ate the wrong things or whatever, if he was being irresponsible. Regardless, I woke up and I thought, man, that was super dumb. Like, why should I care that his feelings are going to get hurt, that what he was doing potentially could have killed all of us? As opposed to going, yeah, like that's really dangerous. And the whole point of this really ridiculous story and dream that I had, which I hope there is one, is that moral relativism. Like, what is the point of moral relativism? Because when we are relative in our morality, and just so you know, like the next step of moral relativism is political correctness, where it's anti-moral. What's the point of it? Well, the point of it is when you use moral relativism, the point of it is to subvert a moral argument. Like, because moral arguments are based upon principles, they're based upon even facts and figures and true things. It's based upon truth, really, and the only way you can really try to stop that sort of argument is by trying to declare and say that the universe is relative. It's all morally relative. And when you do that, that neutralizes the argument, right? There's no longer really an argument. The truth can't really prevail in that sense. Once you can convince people everything is moral, or everything is relative when it comes to morality. But you can't really stay there, right? You can't stay in this limbo of everything is morally relative, because when you do that, that leads to anarchy. And no one, human beings do not want anarchy, though we may have a propensity when our tempers flare up, right, and we move away from morality, that we can go into anarchy. But those in America who throughout this moral relativism, they didn't want anarchy. They are power hungry, they are power mongers, and so they neutralize morality by throwing in moral relativism, and then they introduced a new morality, which is political correctness. And that what's so dangerous about that is that now we have a morality, a sense of what is right and wrong, based upon, well, whoever the heck says it's right and wrong, right? It's not based upon principles. It's just it's based upon feelings, and beyond feelings, it's just whoever is in control of political parties or political movements, they'll decide what is right and wrong, right? And a lot of it is fed through the media. And so here's why morality is so important. This is why we can't just throw it out the window. This is why we can't worry so much about feelings like I did in my dream, where I thought, oh no, my friend probably feels kind of bad that I was, because I was gonna say something to him, be upset, dude, what the crap, you could have killed all of us, calm, keep this thing under control. It's really, the reason why that's so dumb is because morality is how we establish our laws. We establish laws based on what we believe to be right and wrong. So the second we don't know what right and wrong is anymore, well, everything gets thrown out the window. We then start to create laws that actually violate our rights, violate other people's rights, and oppress them, suppress their voices. We see this happening more and more, especially when in the context of religious freedom. And so if we really want a good, just society, then we need morality, and we can't say it's relative, and we can't popularize morality and try to make it modern and a new invention. There's always going to be nuances as to what may be good or better or best. For example, nuances as in dress and appearance. For back in the day, women had to wear really, really long sleeves, and then long down to their ankles. They shouldn't show their ankles ever. And now, obviously, that's not the case. And you shouldn't dress really I don't want to say like a skank, but I just did. Anyways, where you're revealing everything. That is immoral in the sense that you are showing off things to other. Anyways, I'm going back to what I'm trying to say is that though there are silly nuances as to what may be good or bad or better, there is a underlying fundamental morality that we need to understand, and a lot of that you can find that underlying base morality in the Ten Commandments. That's the number one source to look to. Don't kill, no murdering. That's what really the interpretation is. It's no murdering. You should not commit adultery, right? Those sort of things are wrong because that ruins a family unit, and there's a lot of science behind all this. What's really interesting about morality is that when you understand that morality is based upon principles, that the definition of morality is the principles of distinction between right and wrong, good and bad behavior, then okay, there are principles. Principles are eternal. They don't change. They don't mold to what we perceive reality to be. But you can look at principles, and then you could look at the past, and you go, okay, if these are true, then I can find evidence supporting it's this truth from historical evidence in the past. We can find, for example, when we talk about the principle that all men are created equal. Well, if you look in the past, we find where people, if they did not follow that and they refused to believe that all men are created equal, what were the results? Slavery. That's the number one result of not believing and following that principle that all men are created equal, which rarely in the history of the world have people ever really done that. And the result is slavery. The result is causing harm to the freedom and the prosperity of other people. And excuse me, I'll take a drink. I love OJ in the morning. So morality matters because we can't have good laws unless we understand what morality is. And it's important that we understand that when we be totally ridiculous and go this path of being morally relative and using political correctness as our new standard for what is moral, we lose our human rights. I mean, it's already been said. It's been said for a while that when you say things that progressives, that snowflakes disagree with, that is hate speech. And in fact, for them, hate speech is the equivalence of violence. It's already been said that when you say things that people disagree with, right, and it hurts their feelings, right, or it just really messes with their minds because they're a snowflake, right? They can't handle hearing something that is opposed to what they believe, that they disagree with. Then that is like violence, and that you should stop that with violence, right? This is where our morality, it comes in handy, because if we know morality, then we'll say, no. Just because I disagree with you, and will probably destroy you with all the facts and figures that prove that you're wrong and I'm right, and just because that hurts your feelings, that does not mean I have done violence to you. And that does not mean I'm violating your rights. That does not mean I'm harming you. And you need to get over that. And if you say that's violence, and you believe that you have the right to take violence to stop that sort of thing, like BLM does, like Antifa does, then you should be imprisoned. It's as simple as that. It really is. And as you know, I love faith, family, and freedom. Those are fundamentals to success and to civilization, to freedom, or well, obviously freedom, but to prosperity and liberty. And when you do not understand morality anymore, well, and you can't have good laws, then you create collusion in society. And there's so many implications as to how this affects faith, family, freedom, and all other things. But just so you know, and I'll end here, is that you start to lose your sense of morality when you start to erase religion. Once you get religion out of the picture, you start to misunderstand morality. You start to lose your grasp on what is moral, what is right and wrong. And the reason why is because religion is the source that has taught us what those principles are, to distinguish what is right and wrong. That comes from religion. And so we should not be surprised, as we have seen for the past 30, 40 years, as religion is slowly being pushed and suppressed and thrown out the window and saying it's irrelevant, don't bring it in here. Your expression of religion is forcing religion upon other people, yada, yada, yada. And as people who are religious, like me and a lot of other people like us, once we allow that to happen, we go like dumb sheep to the slaughter. I mean, that's our own fault. And because that has happened, and because we've allowed ourselves to be cornered like that and shut up like that, we now, as in America, have a even bigger crisis going on. And that is that we no longer know what is moral anymore. So therefore, our laws are now going to be contradicting and conflicting with one another, and suppressing our natural rights, which government does not determine our natural rights. It is there to protect our natural rights. But now government is laboring to fall in line with this popular sense of what is right and wrong, with political correctness. And by doing that, it is harming other people, suppressing their rights, violating their rights, and harming our prospects for a good, happy, prosperous future. So, I hope you take this information and do something about it. What should you do? Well, next time you have to defend what is right and wrong, explain this to them. And if they're not going to believe it, that's fine. But as long as you understand this, you can be firm. You don't have to be afraid. You can be firm about these things. That's what is important. That's what matters here. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great week. Next week, I'll be excited. We're going to be talking about some good stuff. Especially, I have it written here, that I wanted to discuss, understanding religious support of homosexuals. Like how do religious people, how do we as religious people support homosexuals when we believe it's a sin, right? Like, how do we go about doing that? There's a number of things I want to put down the pipeline. That's what I'm looking at doing next. Anyways, If you liked what you heard, don't forget to hit subscribe and hit the like button. If you have any questions, go ahead and shoot them over to me. My email is contact@alexspicer.com, and I'll answer your questions. And don't forget to live free until next time.